Hello, everybody. My name is Aziz, and I'm here to broadcast the Sunday Night Football matchup as the Kansas City Chiefs take on the New York Giants and East Rutherford, New Jersey. So far, it's been an interesting one. We have two proud franchises with two very different expectations, but one identical problem: 0-2. For the Kansas City Chiefs, this is uncharted territory. Patrick Mahomes has never started a season winless through 2 games. The last time he started 0-2 was his sophomore year of high school. The defending AFC champs, usually unstoppable in September, are suddenly searching for answers. For the New York Giants, 0-2 feels all too familiar. It's the 10th time in the last 12 years they've stumbled out of the gate. History says that's a playoff death sentence, except for one magical exception: the 2007 team that started 0-2 and finished hoisting the Lombardi Trophy over the 17-0 New England Patriots. Only 3 teams in NFL history have ever climbed all the way back from 0-2 to win it all, and one of them is wearing blue tonight. Another is desperate to prove that they still belong in that company. It's the Chiefs. It's the Giants. It's prime time, and on this September night in New York, one of these 0-2 teams will find new life, while the other digs an even deeper hole. Welcome back to the Sunday Night Football broadcast. My name is Aziz, and I'll be broadcasting this game for you tonight. As we stated earlier, it's the New York Giants facing off against the visiting Kansas City Chiefs. And both teams are 0-2. For the New York Giants, this is familiar territory for them. In the past 10 of the last 12 seasons, they've started 0-2. It's an unfortunate trend. Unlike the Chiefs, it's not uncharted waters for the Giants, but starting 0-2 is still a major red flags. But teams that start 0-2 historically make the playoffs less than 12% of the time. Now, this doesn't mean that the Giants are dead in the water, though. Brian Daboll's squad has shown flashes offensively. They had 506 yards versus Dallas last week, but they just haven't had the ability to close out games, which echoes the franchise's struggles over this past decade. When you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, this is the first 0-2 start of the Patrick Mahomes era. Kansas City has been the model of fast starts under Andy Reid in Mahomes' previous 6 seasons as a starter. They were 13-3 in September before this year, Now, they're not only losing, but struggling in areas that are usually considered their strengths. Red zone efficiency, offensive rhythm, and situational execution. Mahomes himself is leading the team in rushing, which is a sign of how broken the run game is. Now, the history of 0-2 teams since 1990, when the NFL expanded the playoffs, only a handful of teams have rebounded from 0-2 to make the postseason. Even with the 17-game schedule and the extra playoff spot, the odds remain daunting. For a defending champion contender like Kansas City, starting 0-2 raises questions about whether this is a blip or a real decline. For the Giants, it's about avoiding yet another season where they're buried before October. So, if the Chiefs lose tonight, the panic button is smashed. 0-3 would mark one of the worst starts ever for a Mahomes and Reid team and cast serious doubt on their Super Bowl window this year. If the Giants lose, it's another chapter in the same old story. Competitive in their moments, but ultimately stuck in rebuild mode. Each team needs a win, and if either one of them wins, they buy themselves some breathing room, they start to build a little momentum, and a shot to reframe their season. We're going to be taking a short break, and after that, we'll return with the coin toss. I'll let you know who won. But until then, I'll see you on the flip side. Be right back after this short break. Welcome back to the Sunday Night Football broadcast. I'm Mark Aziz. It's Kansas City at New York here in East Rutherford, New Jersey, as the Chiefs take on the Giants in a battle of these two teams that are 0-2. One of these teams is going to get their first win of the season tonight. Will it be Kansas City or will it be New York? So we're just about getting ready. We have Brandon Jacobs, the two-time Super Bowl champion with the Giants, hyping up the fans here at East Rutherford, New Jersey. Kickoff will be underway shortly. We have Brandon Jacobs here, hyping up the crowd. It's been a very irregular start for these Kansas City Chiefs, as they appear to have won the coin toss and have elected to defer. So it'll be Gunnar Oswelski for the New York Giants returning this kick, as Kansas City will kick it away to begin this game. Harrison Butker, the place kicker, is ready to go. And away we go with Kansas City at New York. Gunnar Oswelski takes the kick, runs it on up the field, and brings it down to a little bit past the 30-yard line. And the New York Giants offense takes the field for the first time tonight. Starting off with Russell Wilson at starting quarterback, Cam Scattaboo at running back, Wandale Robinson at the slot, Malik Neighbors, left wide receiver, Darius Slayton at the right wide receiver, Theo Johnson as the tight end. We have Greg Van Roten, Jermaine Elenumor, and John Michael Schmitz Jr., John Runyon, and Andrew Thomas for the offensive line. 1st and 10 for the New York Giants. On the 31-yard line. Russell Wilson with Tyrone Tracy hands it off to Tyrone Tracy, and he'll be stuffed at the line of scrimmage. It'll be Connor and Bolton on the Kansas City Chiefs that stuff him for a gain of 1 yard. Russell Wilson had himself a game last week against the Dallas Cowboys. He did wonderful last week when he went 30 for 41, 450 yards, throwing 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. 2nd and 9 as Tyrone Tracy does a spin move and heads on up for the first down. It'll be 1st and 10 on the Giants' 42-yard line. Tyrone Tracy with a nice spin move before he is ultimately brought down by Nick Bolton, but not before the Giants gain a first down. It'll be 1st and 10 on the 42-yard line. Wilson throws it on over to Tyrone Tracy once again, and he's spun down by, I believe, that's Shamari Connor. It'll be a gain of 4. 2nd and 6. So for the Kansas City offense, we'll have George Karlaftis, Chris Jones, Derek Niotti, and Mike Dana on the defensive line. Drew Tranquill, Nick Bolton, and Leo Chanel at the linebackers. Shamari Connor, Jalen Watson, Jaden Hicks, Brian Cook, and Trent McDuffie rounding off the secondary. Steve Spagnuolo returning. 7th season as the Chiefs defensive coordinator. He's the only coordinator in NFL history to win 4 Super Bowls. One of those was won here with the New York Giants. So it's 1st and 10. Ball's on the Kansas City 46-yard line. Wilson hands it off to Tyrone Tracy once again, but he's smothered at the line of scrimmage by the Kansas City defensive line. Drew Tranquill and Shamari Connor are there to shore him up. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Shamari Connor having a lot of activity to start off this game. The starting nickelback for Kansas City, 6 foot, 202 pounds, 25 years old. He's a 2023 4th rounder from Virginia Tech, and he's making quite an impact already tonight. 2nd and 9 on the Kansas City 46-yard line. Wilson hands it off to Scattaboo, who does a nice spin move, breaking tackles. Scattaboo running up the sideline, getting just enough for the first down. Cam Scattaboo with an 11-yard scamper, brought down by Nick Bolton for the first down. Cam Scattaboo, the rookie from ASU, selected in the 4th round by New York. 5'9", 215 pounds, a 23-year-old. He's making quite an impact for the Giants. Had a lot of activity in the game against Dallas. 11 carries for 45 yards. Rushing touchdown. As this play will be a negative play as the Kansas City defensive line gets all over him. George Karlaftis and Shamari Connor come on over to Cam Scattaboo and reel him in for a 1-yard loss. Andrew Thomas is back for the Giants. They're happy to have him back. It's his first game of the year, as he was injured to start off this season. 2nd and 11 for the New York Giants. They're on the 36-yard line. Wilson dumps it on off to Cam Skattebo, and it'll be a nice gain. A gain of about 4 yards. Skattebo is brought down by Nick Bolton and Drew Tranquil. It'll be 3rd down for the Giants. Their first 3rd down tonight. Third down, as Wilson hands it off to Tyrone Tracy, who's brought down short of the line to gain. That was George Karloftis bringing Tyrone Tracy down. Ball's at the Kansas City 28-yard line, and the Giants are faced with a decision here. It's 4th and 3. Graham Gano is not taking the field. Russell Wilson and company stay on and go for it on 4th and 3. Play clock at 11, 10. Wilson takes the snap, and the pass is batted down. Pass was batted down. Nick Bolton had his hands on it, and it'll be a turnover on downs for the New York Giants. So Kansas City gets a stop, thanks to the efforts of Nick Bolton batting Russell Wilson's pass, and it'll be Kansas City ball after the break. Welcome back. Sunday Night Football here on YouTube Live. I'm Mark Aziz, shoutcasting the game from East Rutherford, New Jersey. It's a battle of 2 Super Bowl winning quarterbacks as Patrick Mahomes takes the field for the first time tonight. It'll be 1st and 10 on their own 28-yard line. Mahomes takes the snap, fakes the handoff, rolls out to his left, looking to run it, and he'll tuck it in and run for about 4 yards. That's Javon Holland being the first man on the scene as Mahomes runs out of bounds for a gain of 4. Ball at the KC 32-yard line. Patrick Mahomes has 445 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception through the first 2 weeks. Mahomes drops back, throws it to Isaiah Pacheco, who's brought down after a gain of 4 yards. That was Bobby Okereke. And I believe DeAndre Banks on the tackle as well. It'll be 3rd and 3. Motion from Juju Smith-Schuster. Going up to the top of the screen. Mahomes looks to air it downfield. Throws it to Juju Smith-Schuster on a slant route and gets it at the first down. First and 10 for Kansas City. Juju Smith-Schuster, the one-time Pro Bowler from USC. Started his career with the Pittsburgh Steelers. 9-year NFL veteran with the first down catch on the slant route. First and 10 on the 42-yard line of Kansas City. Mahomes takes the snap, hands it off to Kareem Hunt, who's swallowed up by the New York Giants defensive line, but not after a gain of 3 yards. With this pause, they're going to huddle up and discuss the next play. I'll give you some time to introduce the Kansas City offense to you. For the offensive line, it's Josh Simmons, Kingsley Suamatia, Creed Humphrey, Trade Smith, and Jawan Taylor. Patrick Mahomes is the starting quarterback with Juju Smith-Schuster, Tyquan Thornton, Hollywood Brown for the wide receivers, as Noah Gray gets a big-time first down. But there is a flag on the field. And it looks like this one's coming back. It'll be a holding call as Lan Clark, the NFL referee for tonight, gets Josh Simmons, the left tackle, on the holding penalty. So what was initially a big play, a 20-yard pass to Noah Gray, becomes a negative 10-yard play after the holding call. Travis Kelce, the tight end, in there. It'll be 2nd and 17. Motions. Mahomes does a no-look pass to Juju Smith-Schuster with plenty of room to run. Juju Smith-Schuster breaks a tackle and is brought down by, I believe, that was Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter brings down Juju Smith-Schuster, but not before he gains a first down. Patrick Mahomes with a no-look pass to Juju Smith-Schuster, who scampers on up for an 18-yard gain. It'll be 1st and 10 on the New York 47. Mahomes looking to go up top, airs it on down the field, and it's hauled in by Tyquan Thornton. But he was out of bounds, the referees say. It'll be 2nd and 10. For the defense for New York, Roy Robertson-Harris, Dexter Lawrence, and Rakeem Nunez-Roches Sr. is on the defensive line. Brian Burns, Bobby Okereke, Darius Moasu, and Kayvon Thibodeau are the linebacker core. Paulson Adibu, Tyler Nubin, Javon Holland, Cordell Flott, and Drew Phillips round out the secondary. 2nd and 10 for Kansas City. Mahomes dumps it off to Hollywood Brown, who gets pushed out short of the goal line. That was Drew Phillips, who pushes him out of bounds after an 8-yard gain. It'll be 3rd and 2 for Kansas City. Mahomes takes the snap and hands it off to Kareem Hunt, who gets the first down. Kareem Hunt, who was brought down by Alexander for the first down. Mahomes is 4 for 5 for 36 yards as they are 1st and 10 on the 36-yard line of the New York Giants. Mahomes takes the snap. Play action. Thinks to throw it, pump fakes, but dumps it off to Travis Kelce, but it falls incomplete. Kelce, the intended receiver, but the ball hits the dirt. Mahomes was thinking of throwing it deep as he pumped fake twice, but I suppose he didn't like what he saw, so he looked to dump it off to Travis Kelce, who was not ready for the pass, and it falls harmlessly incomplete. 2nd and 10. 4 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Play clock at 10 and counting. Takes the snap with the play clock at 5. Mahomes airs it out, and it falls incomplete. Travis Kelce, the intended receiver, once again. Tyler Newman was covering him there. It'll be 3rd down and 10. Here we see some of the difficulties that Kansas City has been facing so far this season. Travis Kelce having a slow start, not being able to make that connection with his quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. 3rd down, 10 yards to gain. And a timeout will be called by New York. So the New York Giants will call a timeout. And we're going to take a short break. When we come back, it'll be Kansas City ball. 3rd down. We'll return shortly. Welcome back. It's 3rd and 10. 3rd down and 10 on the New York Giants 36-yard line. 2 straight incompletions for Patrick Mahomes and company. Mahomes looks to throw, airs it out. Pass falls incomplete, was intended for Hollywood Brown, but it's Drew Phillips on the coverage. Breaks it up and forces 4th down. And you'd have to think that Kansas City will be bringing out their field goal unit here. A nice pass breakup by Drew Phillips, who gets a hand on it, swats it away from Hollywood Brown. And here comes Harrison Butker to attempt a 54-yard field goal. The kick is up, and it's a line drive, doinking off the upright, but good. Kansas City takes a 3-0 lead in the first quarter. A line drive that doinked right off the left upright, but falls in for the successful field goal attempt. 3-0 Kansas City. When we come back, it'll be New York's second possession of the game. Welcome back to Sunday Night Football here in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Kansas City Chiefs lead the New York Giants 3-0 as Kansas City gets ready to kick it back to the home team. It'll be, I believe that's Devin Singletary on the kick return. And it's brought at a pretty good field spot to the New York 36. So here comes Russell Wilson on a 1st and 10. Let's see what he's able to do here. First and 10, and he throws a 9-yard pass to Watson. Or excuse me, that's Darius Slayton. Ball will be a yard short of the first down as Wilson throws a quick pass to Darius Slayton. 2nd and inches is what the officials will call it. 2-by-1 set with Tyrone Tracy in the backfield as he gets it with the first down with a few extra yards before he's swallowed up by the Kansas City defense. Nick Bolton there, first man on the scene once again. Russell Wilson's 3 for 4 tonight, 17 yards passing. Breaks the huddle with his teammates. The rookie Jackson Dart watching from the sidelines with his helmet on. Wan'Dale Robinson on the motion. Wilson hands it off to Tyrone Tracy, and he's swallowed up by the Kansas City defensive line. And it's George Karlaftis and Nick Bolton on the scene to hold Tyrone Tracy for a 2-yard gain. Russell Wilson signed in the offseason by the New York Giants. Was last in Pittsburgh. Before he was in Pittsburgh, he was in Denver, but he was most famously with the Seattle Seahawks for the majority of his career, as he dumps a 3-yard pass to Tyrone Tracy, who's knocked out of bounds and slow to get up. He looks to be shaken up after the play. The Kansas City trainers are attending to him. And we're going to have a stoppage here as the trainers come by to look at Tyrone Tracy. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back. It's 3-0 Kansas City. 1 minute and 34 seconds left in this first quarter. Tyrone Tracy being attended to by the New York trainers, as it is, he looks to have injured his arm. I won't speculate any more on the matter. It's 3rd and 5 on the Kansas City 46-yard line. High snap. Wilson dumps it off to Cam Scottaboo, who's swallowed up. That's Nick Bolton once again. First man, Johnny on the spot. And it'll be a 1-yard loss for the New York Giants. Nick Bolton all over the place for the Kansas City defense. It'll be 4th down, and the Giants are choosing to go for it. You'd have to think that maybe they're trying to get the Kansas City defense to jump off sides as the play clock winds down to 4 seconds. And it seems like they're just trying to do a hard count. As flags fly, and they'll take the delay of game penalty. So the Giants will take a delay of game penalty to make it 4th and 11 to make it easier, as they'll prepare to punt it away. Brian Dable expressing his frustration on the matter. It'll be Jamie Gilliam to punt it for New York. As the kick is up and away. You had Nico Remigio on the punt return, but he chooses not to touch it, yelling out, "Peter, Peter," as the ball bounces out of bounds. 28-yard punt for the New York Giants, and it'll be at the Kansas City 19-yard line. Dable's clearly expressing his displeasure at something. There's 11 seconds left in this first quarter, as we have these two 0-2 teams fighting for their first win of the season. It'll be 1st and 10 for Kansas City. Mahomes under center. Charges it up ahead is Kareem Hunt, who's brought down by Dexter Lawrence for a gain of about 3 yards. And that'll be the end of the first quarter. 3-0. Kansas City in front after 1. We take a short break and we'll have second quarter coverage here after. Welcome back to Sunday Night Football. It's 2nd and 7 as Mahomes dumps it off to Kareem Hunt, who spun down for the first down. That was Brian Burns. First man to bring down Kareem Hunt, but not before a first down is gained. It'll be 1st and 10 on the Kansas City 32-yard line. Nice gain from Kareem Hunt, the 9-year veteran from Toledo. Mahomes under center. Play action. Mahomes pressured by Kayvon Thibodeau, who throws it into the dirt in the direction of Isaiah Pacheco. It will be incomplete. Kayvon Thibodeau, bringing immense pressure to Patrick Mahomes, forced him to dump it off to the dirt at Isaiah Pacheco's feet, and it'll fall harmlessly incomplete for 2nd and 10. And there looks to be a timeout, as perhaps maybe the officials might think that Mahomes was past the line of scrimmage when he threw the ball. So they're going to take a look at it. I don't think he was completely beyond the line of scrimmage upon looking at the replay. Nevertheless, they'll take a look at it, as Brian Dable has officially thrown the challenge flag. So Brian Dable and the New York Giants are challenging the ruling of an incomplete pass. They think that Patrick Mahomes was past the line of scrimmage when he threw it. So we shall see. In the meanwhile, let's talk about the rarity of success for teams starting 0-2. Now, it's very rare for teams to fully recover from 0-2, especially powerhouses like Kansas City. There's only been 3 instances in NFL history where a team has started 0-2 but has gone on to win the Super Bowl. First instance was the 1993 Dallas Cowboys, who lost their first 2 games yet won the Super Bowl. Then there was the 2001 New England Patriots, the first Super Bowl of Tom Brady's career. They started off 0-2. And then there were the 2007 New York Giants, who started 0-2, finished the season 10-6, and went on to defeat the undefeated New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. That was Super Bowl 42. So it's been quite a while since a team has started 0-2 and gone all the way to win the Super Bowl. Now, for the Kansas City Chiefs, most people still assume that they're going to make the playoffs because it's never a good idea to write off Patrick Mahomes. But what it seems to be the main concern right now for the Kansas City Chiefs is their chances at gaining the number 1 seed. Starting 0-2 does not bode well for their chances at gaining the number 1 seed in the playoffs. Now, granted, it is still very early in the season. It's only week 3. But starting 0-2 is very difficult. It puts them in quite a hole. It's not impossible for a team to make it to the playoffs, though, but it makes it very difficult. The Giants are notorious for starting 0-2 in their recent history, and it looks like the call on the field has been reversed after the challenge. It looks like they weren't saying it was an incomplete pass. They were saying that it was a backwards pass. And because of that, instead of a 2nd and 10, it will be 2nd and 18. So Mahomes and company will line up in an empty set on 2nd and 18. Mahomes takes a 5-step drop, steps up under pressure, and throws it to Noah Gray for a completion of 11 yards, but there is a penalty on the field. See what Land Clark has to say. There looks to be illegal contact on the defense. That's penalty will be called on Drew Phillips, as that 5-yard penalty will lead to a automatic first down for Kansas City. It'll be 1st and 10 on the Kansas City 29-yard line. Mahomes hands it off to Nico Remigio, who goes up the field and is brought down. A nice play there. Brought down. It looks like he gets the first down. The officials seem to be giving them the first down. Kelsey runs on to the sideline. It'll be 1st and 10 at the Kansas City 40-yard line. Mahomes takes the snap, takes a 5-step drop, moves around under pressure, scrambles to his right, dumps it off to Juju Smith-Schuster, who has nothing but green grass and is brought down past the 35-yard line. It's 1st and 10, and they're in New York territory. Patrick Mahomes doing circus moves in the pocket, dodging the pressure from the New York defensive line with nearly 7 seconds of holding the ball as he slings it to Juju Smith-Schuster for a big 27-yard gain. 1st and 10 for the Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes, under pressure, steps up, rolls out to his right. Mahomes tucks it in and runs out of bounds for a gain of 1. Tyler Nubin, the Giant that forced him out of bounds. Isaiah Pacheco adjusting Mahomes' shoulder pad, tucking it back into his jersey as they get into the huddle, getting ready to call the next play. 2nd and 9 on the New York Giants 32-yard line. Mahomes slings it to Noah Gray, but he's swallowed up well behind the line of scrimmage. That's Tyler Nubin there at the stop to make it a negative play. A loss of 3 yards. Pressured by Kayvon Thibodeau, and Tyler Nubin swallows up Noah Gray for a tackle for loss. It'll be a loss of 3 yards, and it's 3rd and 12. Third and 12, with the play clock down to 3 seconds. Mahomes has got to snaps it, takes it, 5-step drop, steps up into the pocket, and scrambles. Mahomes brought down past the 1st-yard line. That's Tyler Nubin once again bringing him down, but there is a flag on the field. Mahomes, with a look of annoyance, tells that it's on Kansas City. Land Clark says it's a legal formation on Jawan Taylor, the left or the right tackle. 7-year veteran out of Florida. Legal formation. So what that means is that Jawan Taylor was a bit too far behind the line of scrimmage. So it'll be a 3rd and 17. Mahomes dumps it off to Noah Gray, and he'll be brought down for a 10-yard pass, but it'll be 4th and 7, and they're going to have to bring out the kicking unit once again. Harrison Butker is on the field once again to kick another field goal. He made his first one. It was a 54-yarder. This one's a tad easier, 48 yards. As the kick is up and away and right down the pipe. So Kansas City pushes the score to 6-0 with 9:48 left in the first half. We're going to be taking a short break, and when we return, it'll be New York ball after this. Welcome back to Sunday Night Football here in East Rutherford, New Jersey, as the Kansas City Chiefs lead the New York Giants 6-0. I'm Mark Aziz on the call, as Russell Wilson and company will be getting ready to take on the field once again for Big Blue. Oh 2 is an all but familiar spot for these New York Giants fans. It's been real tough sledding for the New York Giants since their last Super Bowl victory back in 2011. Last time they made the playoffs was 2021, but before then it was 2015. They've only made the playoffs twice in the last 10 years. One player that the Giants are happy to have back after a while has been Andrew Thomas, who's been doing a good job so far, putting the kibosh on the Kansas City pass rush. So Harrison Butker kicks it 58 yards from the Kansas City 35 to the New York Giants 7, with Devin Singletary returning it for 19 yards. It'll be 1st and 10 on the New York 26 as Russell Wilson does play action and throws a wobbly pass that falls incomplete at midfield. I think that one was intended for Malik Neighbors, but it seems like, I believe that was Jalen Watson who got a hand on it as Russell Wilson was throwing it, which led to the wobbly throw that ultimately fell incomplete. 2nd and 10 for New York. Wilson hands it off to Devin Singletary, who's swallowed up by Leo Chenal and Nick Bolton. It'll be a gain of 3. It looks like the Giants are having some injury woes for their kicker, as Graham Gano is questionable with a groin injury. Tyrone Tracy is also questionable to return with a shoulder. 3rd and 7 as Russell Wilson takes a 5-step drop and throws a deep pass that's intercepted. Intercepted by, I believe that's number 30, Chris Roland Wallace. And the Kansas City defense comes away with a big play as Chris Roland Wallace, the backup nickelback for Kansas City, picks off Russell Wilson. Pass was intended for Wan'Dale Robinson, but there were 3 Kansas City Chiefs in the area, with Roland Wallace being the lucky Chief to snag it and force the turnover. It'll be 1st and 10 Kansas City after this short break. Welcome back to Sunday Night Football. I'm Mark Aziz, and the Kansas City Chiefs have turned over Russell Wilson as Wilson throws a deep pass intended for Wan'Dale Robinson, but Chris Roland Wallace intercepts it at the Kansas City 30 and returns it to the New York 47 for a 23-yard interception return, as Patrick Mahomes hands it off to Isaiah Pacheco, who charges up the field for an 8-yard run. Chris Roland Wallace with the interception return, eventually brought down by Theo Robinson, the tight end. So far, it's been tough sledding for Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce this season. 2 targets but no receptions, as Mahomes dumps this pass to Tyquan Thornton, who's starting in place of the injured Xavier Worthy. It'll be first down, 7-yard pass to Tyquan Thornton, and the Chiefs will get the first down at the 32-yard line. $7:43 and counting in the first half. 1st and 10 Mahomes hands it off. It's Pacheco who runs up the middle for a gain of 6. Brought down by Brian Burns. Second and 4. Kansas City in 12 personnel, or 21 personnel, excuse me. Mahomes, 3-step drop, passes it to Travis Kelce for a 6-yard pass, and that's enough for a first down. The Chiefs, with the help of Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, are now in the red zone. Pass was wobbly as pressure got to Mahomes, but Kelce ultimately makes the catch and gets the first down as the Chiefs enter the red zone as Mahomes throws an incomplete pass. That one was intended for Brashard Smith. Second and 10. Kansas City leads the New York Giants 6-0. It'll be second down and 10 on the New York 20 for Kansas City. Mahomes throws and passes it to Travis Kelce, but he's tackled for a loss. That's Cordell Flott and Drew Phillips on the tackle. It'll be a loss of 2 yards. You can see the rookie out of Penn State, Abdul Carter, getting up into the backfield, putting pressure on Mahomes, along with Kayvon Thibodeau. It'll be third and long for Kansas City. Mahomes, 5-step drop, heaves it, and pass was intended for Juju Smith-Schuster, who attempted to make a high point, but the pass was broken up. That was Banks, Deonte Banks, on the pass breakup. And it looks like Kansas City will have to trot out the field goal unit once again for a third time tonight. The offensive woes continue for Kansas City, as here comes Harrison Butker for the easiest field goal of tonight. It will be a 40-yard attempt. The kick is up, and it's no good. Wide right. And the score remains 6-0. A rare miss from Harrison Butker, and this remains a one-score game. "6-0 leads Kansas City after the missed field goal from Harrison Butker. When we come back, it'll be New York Giants football on Sunday Night Football. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to Sunday Night Football here on YouTube Live. I'm Mark Aziz, and we're here in East Rutherford, New Jersey, where a lot of things have happened in MetLife Stadium. This is a football stadium with a lot of historic events, from Super Bowls to wild one-handed catches. And here we are for another primetime game under the bright lights of New York, as Cam Skattebo charges on ahead for a gain of 7. Looks to be some conversations being exchanged between Andy Reid and Travis Kelce. 2nd and 3 for the New York Giants, as Wilson hands it off to Cam Skattebo, who gets a first down and plenty more. Brought down at near midfield. It'll be brought down at the New York 48. Trent McDuffie on the tackle. Here comes the rookie from Arizona State, Cam Skattebo. 4th rounder this year's NFL draft. 23 years old. He's got 4 rushes for 28 yards tonight. Wilson takes a 3-step drop, throws it to, I believe that's Darius Slayton. Brought down once again by Trent McDuffie for a gain of 4. Cam Skattebo had 1,700 rushing yards with Arizona State. It's 2nd and 6 as Skattebo is behind Russell Wilson in the backfield. Hands it off, but here is, I believe that's Leo Chenal in the backfield meeting him for a loss of 2. Kansas City was ready for that one. 3rd and 8. Three minutes left in the first half. The Giants are 0 for 3 on 3rd down tonight, averaging 6.3 yards to go. Will this be their first 3rd down conversion of tonight? Wilson drops back, dumps it off to Skattebo, who rushes on ahead for the first down and plenty more. Flags flying down as Skattebo is brought down at the 45-yard line of Kansas City. Chris Roland Wallace on the tackle. And flag looks to be on Kansas City. And it will be on Noel Williams for illegal contact. Illegal contact on Theo Johnson away from the play. In the trenches, Andrew Thomas making quick work of Chris Jones, making sure that he had nothing to do with impeding that first down run, or that first down pass, 16-yard gain on that 3rd down. It's 1st and 10 on the Kansas City 34-yard line, as Devin Singletary takes the ball, goes wide, but is stopped at the line of scrimmage by the Kansas City defense. That's George Karlaftis once again. The 2022 first rounder out of Purdue, making his presence known here in New York. And here we reach the 2-minute warning of the first half. Kansas City leads the New York Giants 6-0. After the 2-minute warning, it'll be 2nd and 9 for the New York Giants. So with that, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll get the conclusion of the first half here on Sunday Night Football. Welcome back to Sunday Night Football here on YouTube Live. I'm Mark Aziz, and the New York Giants are in Kansas City territory at the 2-minute warning of this first half. It's been a low-scoring affair. The New York Giants have yet to score any points, but they have an opportunity to get on the board here. Kansas City leads them 6-0. It would have been 9-0 had Harrison Butker not missed a 40-yard field goal attempt, which leads to this New York Giants possession. Stay tuned for the halftime report as we'll go over what happened across the NFL this past Sunday. A lot of upsets happened. It's been an exciting one. So it'll be 2nd and 9 with 2 minutes remaining in this first half. The New York Giants trail Kansas City 6-0. Now remember, there are no coaches' challenges allowed in the last 2 minutes. And it looks like there was a fun little mini game. Throwing footballs into a hole. Here comes Russell Wilson and company. It's 2nd and 9. Theo Johnson in the motion. Wilson, under pressure, throws it to Theo Johnson. Or no, I believe that was Cam Scadaboo, I beg your pardon. And pass falls incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 9. Supposed to be a short check down pass to the right. Scadaboo had a hand on it, but just couldn't secure it. Third down. Wilson drops back, throws a deep pass, and it falls incomplete. Darius Slayton, the intended receiver, but there's a flag on the field. What does Land Clark have to say about this? And it's a roughing the passer penalty on George Karlaftis. The Giants have life as George Karlaftis lays the wood on Russell Wilson after the pass has been thrown. And the Giants get a fresh set of downs after roughing the passer penalty. It'll be 1st and 10 on the Kansas City 18-yard line. The Giants are now in the red zone thanks to the penalty. The Giants haven't had a lot of success in the red zone so far, as this first play will be a rushing attempt from Cam Scadaboo for minimal gain, probably no more than a yard. But there is dirty laundry on the field. And it looks to be defensive holding on Chris Jones. So back-to-back mental errors for this Kansas City defense, and they're just gifting the New York Giants free yards. 20 yards off of penalties in the last 2 plays, back-to-back. So it'll be 1st and 10, fresh set of downs. This time, it'll be on the Kansas City, it'll be on the Kansas City 14-yard line. Russell Wilson hands it off. Cam Scatterbo makes the man miss and dives on in. Touchdown, New York! Cam Scatterbo with the rushing touchdown, and the Giants tie it up with a chance to take the lead. Cam Scatterbo tripped up, using his hand to propel him into the end zone, making men miss. The Giants have a chance to take the lead. Now remember, they have an injured kicker, and the kick is blocked. The extra point is blocked. And the game remains tied. Jamie Gilliam is the emergency kicker. Graham Gano is questionable with a groin injury, so Jamie Gilliam, the punter, had to kick the extra point, and it was blocked. So the score is tied, 6-all. With 1 minute and 44 seconds remaining, Kansas City gets the ball back with a chance to maybe take back the lead. We're going to take a short break. It'll be Kansas City ball with 1 minute and 44 seconds left in the first half. Welcome back to Sunday Night Football here on YouTube Live. I'm Mark Aziz, and we have a tie football game here in East Rutherford, New Jersey, as the New York Giants tie the game after a 13-yard Cam Scatterbo rushing touchdown, but a missed extra point leaves this game knotted up at 6. Kansas City takes it. It'll be, I believe, that's Brashard Smith on the return, brought down at the 25-yard line, or the 22-yard line, I beg your pardon. Jamie Gillen with a blocked extra point, kicking in relief of Graham Gano, who's questionable at the moment with a groin injury. It'll be 1st and 10 on the New York 22 for Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes throws it to Noah Gray under pressure, but it falls incomplete. That's Drew Phillips on the defense there. 2nd and 10. Mahomes takes the snap, throws it, but it's a backward pass. That'll be called a fumble. And the New York Giants, no wait, it's Mahomes. Mahomes falls on top of the ball, and it's a big loss for Kansas City. Disaster. It could have been worse, as there were 3 New York Giants all over. But it was Mahomes that ultimately ended up getting on top of the football, as that was clearly a backwards pass. Isaiah Pacheco was not ready for it. There seemed to have been a miscommunication there. Maybe the timing was off. But Patrick Mahomes stopping Okereke from recovering the fumble, literally snatching it out of his hands. What a play from Patrick Mahomes to save the turnover. But now it's 3rd and forever, 3rd and 25. Very impressive play from Mahomes there, recovering after the terrible backwards pass to snatch it out of the hands of Bobby Okereke. But still a negative play regardless. Very uncharacteristic of Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs having difficulty scoring points, especially against a team like the New York Giants, who have been a eternal bottom feeder for the past decade, making the playoffs only twice in the last 10 years. And this will just be a simple 6-yard run. Kareem Hunt taking it, charging up the middle to the Kansas City 13-yard line. The Giants will take their final timeout. There's 1 minute and 19 seconds remaining in the first half, and it's looking like New York's going to get one more crack at it before the half. The offensive woes continue for Kansas City, who could only muster up 6 points. Matt Arezia coming in to punt for Kansas City. It'll be the first punt of the night. Kick is up and away. It's Gunnar Olszewski who bobbles the pass, but manages to recover and is knocked out of bounds. That was number 43, Jack Cochran, clobbering him out of bounds. Flag on the field. One minute and 11 seconds remaining here in this first half. We'll see what the penalty flag is. So it was a kick-catch interference on Williams, Joshua Williams. That's a 15-yard penalty. So it'll be 1st and 10 on the New York 44-yard line. Kansas City has five penalties. And that's cost them 50 yards. Meanwhile, New York's only has 1. That's only for 5 yards. First and 10 at the 41-yard line of Kansas City. Russell Wilson in the backfield with Devin Singletary. Throws a deep shot, a wobbler that falls incomplete. Theo Johnson, the intended receiver there. It looks like Charles Omenihu, the former 49er, had a hand on that one as he interfered with Russell Wilson's throwing motion, which ultimately led to the incompletion. Second and 10. One by two set. Wilson throws a deep pass intended for Darius Slayton, but Noel Williams on the coverage allows it to be an incompletion. However, there is a flag on the field. We'll see what Land Clark has to say. And it looks to be a personal foul on Noel Williams' face mask. And that'll be a 15-yard penalty. 6 penalties for 65 yards on Kansas City. And the Giants get a fresh set of downs. It'll be first and 10 on the 26-yard line of Kansas City. Wilson hands it off to Devin Singletary, who charges up the middle before he's swallowed up by the Kansas City defensive line. It'll be a gain of 4. Charles Omenihu and Nick Bolton leading the charge. .56 seconds left in the first half, and Kansas City will take their first time out. Malik Neighbors has been quiet today, as Kansas City has put their focus on shutting him down. Has not received any targets yet today. Excuse me, he has received 1 target. It has no receptions. So it's 56 seconds remaining. Second and 6. On the that's the 24-yard line. Or the 23-yard line, I beg your pardon. Wilson drops back to throw. Heaves it into the end zone. Picked off. Interception by Jalen Watson. Right in the end zone. It'll be a touchback for Kansas City. Brian Dable beside himself. Malik Neighbors, the intended receiver. But Jalen Watson all over the underthrown pass. As Kansas City gets another turnover and stops the Giants from being able to score once more in this first half. 2 turnovers for Big Blue. Kansas City gets the ball on their own 20-yard line. Brian Burns bats the pass that was intended for Noah Gray, and he's shaken up. Brian Burns is shaken up after the play. Seems to be a lower leg injury. So as the New York trainers attend to him, seems like we're going to have a stoppage in the game. There's 46 seconds remaining in this first half. It's all knotted up at 6. Russell Wilson has thrown 2 interceptions. Which takes away a few scoring opportunities for the New York Giants. Brian Burns walks off the field under his own power, albeit a bit gingerly. Seems to have hyperextended his knee slightly. So he's going to walk off the field. Second and 10. Mahomes in an empty set dumps the pass off to Travis Kelce, who's wrangled on down by Cordell Flott. It's a 9-yard pass. Kansas City will take their second timeout. 30 seconds. We'll stay with you. .36 seconds remaining in this first half. The Chiefs have turned New York over twice now, yet the score remains 6-all. Kansas City scoring off of 2 field goals. The New York Giants scoring off a touchdown, but a missed extra point as their punter, Jamie Gillan, is in to kick for relief of Graham Gano, who's questionable with a groin injury. Patrick Mahomes, 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, 2-time MVP, 3-time Super Bowl MVP, faces a 3rd and 1 with 40 seconds remaining in this first half. Third and 1 on the Kansas City 29-yard line. The Chiefs, for the first time in this Patrick Mahomes era, are at the bottom of the AFC West. The Los Angeles Chargers have started off 3-0. And not only have they started 3-0, but all 3 of their wins are against their divisional opponents, the Chiefs, the Raiders, and just earlier today, against the Denver Broncos. So Kansas City has a lot of ground to make up in terms of their division, as Mahomes takes the snap and hands it off to, I believe that's Isaiah Pacheco, for the first down. As clock winds to 40 seconds until before Kansas City takes their final timeout. It'll be 1st and 10 on the Kansas City 32-yard line. Next Sunday, here's an exciting one for you. The Green Bay Packers come to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Micah Parsons going up against his former team after he was traded to Green Bay 1 week before the season started. Mahomes drops back to pass, rolls out to his right, throws an incomplete pass after being pressured and nearly sacked by Abdul Carter. It'll fall incomplete. 2nd and 10. Brian Burns is back on the field, much to the relief of the New York Giants faithful. Abdul Carter with the pressure nearly got to Mahomes before he threw it away. 2nd and 10. Mahomes, 5-step drop back. Throw it a deep pass, and it's nearly intercepted. Nearly intercepted by Paulson Adebo. Pass was intended for Tyquan Thornton, but Adebo had his hands on it and nearly got the interception. Kayvon Thibodeau putting the pressure on Josh Simmons, and Paulson Adebo just couldn't get his hands on the ball. 3rd and 10. Four-man rush. Mahomes throws. Pass dropped. Juju Smith-Schuster, the intended receiver, he was wide open but couldn't secure the catch. Flag on the field. And it looks like it'll be illegal contact on Drew Phillips. It'll be 5-yard penalty. Jawan Taylor, lucky that he didn't get called for a false start as he jumped a bit early there. But it'll be an automatic first down after the illegal contact penalty. 23 seconds left. Mahomes drops back, surveys. Mahomes scrambles to his right after pressure from Abdul Carter. Mahomes scrambles once again, throws a deep pass, and it's incomplete. Hollywood Brown, the intended receiver, Drew Phillips on the coverage, and a flag is thrown. This looks to be defensive pass interference. 7 seconds remaining. Patrick Mahomes dancing through the pressure. Abdul Carter in his face, managing to get away from him. It is pass interference on Drew Phillips. Ball would be placed on the spot of the foul. And that's all the way at the New York Giants 11-yard line. Darius Alexander with the initial pressure. Abdul Carter nearly had Mahomes, and he heaves one to Hollywood Brown. But Drew Phillips had just a bit too much contact on Hollywood Brown to force the pass interference. Mahomes takes the snap, throws it into the dirt. It'll be 2nd and 10, but there's 4 seconds remaining. So it looks like they'll have to trot out the field goal unit once again. And here comes Harrison Butker. 4 seconds remain, and it looks like the Chiefs will have a chance to take the lead going into halftime. Butker has made field goals from 54 and 48. Missed a 40-yarder in his last attempt. This one's from 28. Here's the snap. Laces out. The kick is up and away and good. Kansas City takes the lead 9-6 going into the half. After the half, it'll be Kansas City ball. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to do a halftime report going over the past NFL Sunday, the slate of games that happen in the morning and the afternoon slots. There's a lot of excitement. But stay tuned for that. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back to Sunday Night Football here on YouTube Live. I'm Mark Aziz. Welcome to the halftime show. Here we're going to go over the scores and highlights of this past Sunday. It's been an exciting set of games tonight. Starting off with some of the early games. You had the Green Bay Packers visiting the Cleveland Browns. And this one was a close one. Wasn't a lot happening until the very end. The Packers had a 10-3 lead going into the fourth quarter. But coming off of a Josh Love interception that was nearly a pick six, the Browns managed to score to make it a tie game. So after the Browns scored, there was only about a minute or so left. This is like going into the 2-minute warning. The Packers managed to get all the way down into field goal territory, ready for Mason Crosby to kick a game-winning field goal, but the Browns come in and block the field goal and take the ball with plenty of time to spare as they get into field goal range and kick the game-winning field goal to win 13-10, upsetting the Green Bay Packers, which many believe to be the best team in the NFL after their flaming hot start to the season, defeating the reigning NFC North champion Detroit Lions in Week 1 and defeating the NFC Championship runner-up Washington Commanders last Thursday. The Colts took on the Titans with Indiana Jones, and the Colts have started 3-0 after blowing out the Tennessee Titans 41-20. It's the first time the Colts have gone 3-0 in a long time. You'll have to go back to when Peyton Manning was the quarterback to go back to the last time the Colts started 3-0. The Bengals were one of many teams that were undefeated going into this week, hoping to retain their undefeated status, but the Minnesota Vikings come out of the forefront at home and blow them out of the water 48-10. Carson Wentz starting in place of the injured J.J. McCarthy, but it seems like they haven't missed a beat without their starting quarterback. The Pittsburgh Steelers defeat the New England Patriots 21-14 in Foxborough after the Patriots commit a backbreaking 5 turnovers that ultimately led to their defeat. The LA Rams come into Philly to take on the reigning Super Bowl champions, and for quite a while it looked like the Rams were going to win, as going into the fourth quarter they were leading the Eagles 26-14 or 26-21 until Jalen Hurts, with the help of A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, score a touchdown to take the lead. They ultimately tried to go for 2, but it was a failed attempt, so it led to the Eagles hanging on by 1 point. It was 27-26. Matthew Stafford takes the ball and manages to get the Rams into field goal range, and Josh Carty comes on out to kick what would have been the game-winning field goal, but Philadelphia comes out and blocks the kick with Jordan Carter coming in to run it back all the way for an Eagles touchdown, and the Eagles remain undefeated, winning 33-26 over the LA Rams. The Buccaneers, celebrating their 50th anniversary, bring out their all-white creamsicle jerseys as the New York Jets come to town. In a close one, the Buccaneers managed to edge them out 29-27. The Commanders, with Jaden Daniels out with injury, trounced the Las Vegas Raiders 41-24. The Panthers surprisingly shut out the Atlanta Falcons 30-0
It was all Carolina for all 4 quarters. The Jaguars take on the visiting Houston Texans. And going into this game, the Texans had the Jaguars' number, as C.J. Stroud was, I believe, undefeated against the Jaguars in Jacksonville until today, as Jacksonville defeated the Houston Texans 17-10. As we go on into the afternoon slot, the Chargers go on and defeat the Denver Broncos 23-20, taking a 3-0 start. And not only is it a 3-0 start, but that's a 3-0 start in the division, as the Chargers have faced nobody but their own divisional opponents, starting with the Chiefs, then the Raiders, and now the Broncos. So Los Angeles is sitting pretty atop the AFC West with a 3-0 record, not just overall, but in the division as well. The New Orleans Saints come to visit Seattle only to get stomped as Seattle blows them out 44-13. Chicago comes out the gates as the visiting Dallas Cowboys get trounced 31-14 after Caleb Williams throws 3 touchdowns in this victory. Lastly, the 49ers take on the visiting Arizona Cardinals, and a close 16-15 victory as Eddie Pinheiro kicked the game-winning field goal to defeat the Arizona Cardinals, who are now without James Conner for the rest of the year after suffering a horrible ankle injury late in the second half. So with that, we're going to be taking another break. When we return, it'll be Kansas City ball after the half. So stay tuned. You're listening to Sunday Night Football here on YouTube Live. I'm Mark Aziz. When we come back, will be second half action right here. Welcome back to Sunday Night Football. It's the start of the second half as the Kansas City Chiefs get the ball to start off this second half. As Remigio returns the ball for 23 yards. They'll start off on the Kansas City 26-yard line to kick off this third quarter. It's 1st and 10. And Mahomes hands it off to Isaiah Pacheco, who charges and stutter steps through, but is ultimately shored up by the New York Giants defense. That was Brian Burns leading the charge there to hold the run to 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Mahomes rolls to his right and throws a deep pass to Hollywood Brown, and it's complete. That's a 17-yard gain as the Chiefs move the sticks and are very close to midfield after that completion. It'll be on the Kansas City 46-yard line after that completion. Hollywood Brown going to the sidelines after that big catch. 1st and 10. Mahomes, under center, hands the ball off to Isaiah Pacheco, who pinballs and rattles around until he's ultimately brought down by Tyler Nubin across midfield. It'll be an 8-yard gain. Bouncing off of New York Giant defenders, Isaiah Pacheco is ultimately brought down by Tyler Nubin as Kansas City gets across midfield. Brought down at the New York Giants 46-yard line. It's 2nd and 2. Mahomes hands it off to Pacheco once again, but is met at the line of scrimmage by who else? Abdul Carter, the rookie out of Penn State. It'll be a 1-yard loss on the play as Abdul Carter sniffed it out quickly, getting past Creed Humphrey and smothering Isaiah Pacheco. 3rd and 3. Mahomes in an empty set throws and passes complete to Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce brought down at the 35-yard line. That was Tyler Nubin bringing him down. But it'll be a gain of 13 yards as the Chiefs get well into New York territory after that play. Kelce with 4 receptions and 26 yards tonight. It'll be 1st and 10 on the New York 34-yard line. Mahomes throws a quick pass to Hollywood Brown, who's brought down by Paulson Adebo. It'll be 2nd and 3. Quick pass to Hollywood Brown there. That was a gain of 7 on the play. Mahomes is 15 for 26, 137 yards. It's 2nd and 3. Mahomes under center with Pacheco in the backfield. Does a jet screen to, I believe that is Brashard Smith, who runs on through for the 1st down, +5. It'll be a 1st down for Kansas City. A jet screen is the play that was dialed up for Kansas City as Brashard Smith turns it up for the 1st down and gets to the edge of the red zone for the Kansas City Chiefs. It's 1st and 10 on the 22-yard line in New York. Mahomes takes it to Isaiah Pacheco, who runs down the sideline for a gain of 10, and that'll be another 1st down. Isaiah Pacheco having himself a good night. 8 carries for 41 yards. Going wide to the outside, beyond the numbers, running down the sideline, getting just enough for the 1st down. It's 1st and 10 on the 12 as they hand it on off to Pacheco once again, who charges up the middle for a gain of 3 or 4. It'll be a gain of 4 yards. Second down. Second down and 5. Ball's placed on the 8-yard line. Mahomes in an empty set. Takes the snap, throws a quick pass to, I believe that's Juju Smith-Schuster. It'll be a gain of about 3. As that was Brian Burns who ties up Juju Smith-Schuster, putting him short of the sticks. Juju Smith-Schuster going past his own teammates to make that tackle. 3rd and 3. Mahomes in an empty set. In the shotgun. Takes the snap. Mahomes surveys, throws up the middle. Caught! Touchdown! Touchdown, Tyquan Thornton. Kansas City extends their lead. Tyquan Thornton running up the middle on a post. Manages to get past Drew Phillips and scores the touchdown for Kansas City. Here's Harrison Butker with the extra point. Up and good. Kansas City up by 10 over the New York Giants. It was a 11-play, 74-yard drive that took 6 minutes and 38 seconds, ultimately ending with a 5-yard touchdown pass to Tyquan Thornton to extend the lead to 10 for the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with New York's first possession of the second half after this. Welcome back to Sunday Night Football here on YouTube Live. I'm Mark Aziz. The Kansas City Chiefs lead the New York Giants 16-6. after a 11-play, 74-yard touchdown drive from Patrick Mahomes and company, extended the lead for 10 points for the Kansas City Chiefs. Harrison Buckner kicks it away, and it's Devin Singletary that will return it for 27 yards to the New York Giants' 32-yard line. So far, next-gen stats say that the Giants, going into this game, had 3 missed tackles forced from the running backs, which was the fewest in the league. But tonight, 5 missed tackles thanks to the effort of Cam Skattebo and his 6 rushes for 39 yards and a touchdown. It's 1st and 10 on the 32-yard line, and they go to Cam Skattebo, who runs outside to the left, and then ultimately brought down by Brian Cook. Initially, he was going to go up inside, but saw that there was a lot of defenders in the way, so he elected to go out to wide to the left, but Brian Cook, the free safety out of Cincinnati, comes flying in to make the stop, which resulted in a gain of 0. It'll be 2nd and 10. 7:42 and counting in this third quarter. Russell Wilson in the shotgun. Wilson steps up in the pocket, decides to take it himself, runs up, and slides down at the 45-yard line. It'll be a 14-yard run as the ball will be spotted at the 46. Russell Wilson, with his mobility, he was always a dual threat quarterback in his younger days in Seattle, and he taps into his old self here as he scrambles for 14 on that play. Wilson decides to keep it himself. Actually, it's Jackson Dart stepping in, and he runs for 3 yards. So it was Jackson Dart that came in on that play, but he comes off, and Russell Wilson returns. Second down and 7 after the 3-yard run from Jackson Dart. Ball is at the New York Giants 48.5-yard line. We'll say it's the New York 49. Pump fake from Russell Wilson, and he's swallowed up and sacked by Chris Jones. Chris Jones with the sack. And that is a loss of 5 for New York. Chris Jones getting past John Runyon. Coming home with assistance from George Karlaftis at the end. So a 2nd and 7 becomes a 3rd and 12 after the sack. Wilson drops back, steps up in the pocket, decides to keep it, runs, and is brought down by Chamari Connor, short of the line to gain. 8-yard run. And the Giants are faced with a decision here. They're in no man's land. It's 4th and 4. And it looks like they're going to bring out the punting unit. Jamie Gillen, the Scot, coming out to punt it for New York. Kick is up and away, and he boots it to the Kansas City 15-yard line, and that's where it's ultimately brought down. Return of only about 4 yards, as Kansas City will be getting the ball at their own 19-yard line after the break.
Welcome back to Sunday Night Football. Patrick Mahomes has 3 Super Bowl wins before turning 30. It's rare company. Only a few quarterbacks have done that. Tom Brady is one of them. The other one, Joe Montana. He's in elite company. It's 1st and 10 on the 19-yard line as he hands it off to Kareem Hunt for a gain of 3. But it's been tough sledding for Patrick Mahomes so far. He does have the 5-yard touchdown pass, but he's been having to navigate a messy pocket at most times. But usually the receivers are typically not open for the most part. And Mahomes is left to be doing most of the scrambling as he is the leading rusher on his team so far, as he has the most rushing yards out of anybody. Mahomes throws a short pass to, I think that's Tyquan Thornton. And it will be a gain of 5 on the play. Mahomes is 19 for 30 on passing attempts. He's got 160 yards, 1 touchdown, no ints. So far, not a bad performance. It's 3rd and 2. Ball is on the 27-yard line of Kansas City. Mahomes takes the snap at the gun and throws it to Noah Gray for a completion. It will be a gain of 10. First and 10 for Kansas City. Noah Gray with the 10-yard completion. Paulson Adebo with the tackle. So it'll be 1st and 10 on the Kansas City 37-yard line. Mahomes hands it off to Kareem Hunt, who goes wide to the right and is eventually brought down by Abdul Carter for a gain of 3. Second down and 7 for Kansas City. Abdul Carter coming off the field. Three wide receivers at the left. Hollywood Brown motions to the right. Mahomes hands it off to Kareem Hunt once again, and he's brought down by Bobby Okereke, and it'll be short of the first down. He rolled a 6-yard run. 3rd and short for Kansas City. .140 remaining in this 3rd quarter. It'll be 3rd and 1 on the KC 40-yard line. Mahomes with 2 running backs at his side in the gun. Throws a pass intended for Tyquan Thornton, but it falls incomplete. It'll be 4th and 1. It looks like maybe the Chiefs are going to go for this. Chiefs and 21 personnel decide to throw it to Tyquan Thornton on 3rd and 1. But it looks like Tyquan Thornton wasn't ready for it. They seem to have had a miscommunication there. It looks like they were going to go for it. But New York calls their first timeout of the second half. They don't like what they saw personnel-wise. So they decided to call a timeout and think things over. Fourth and 1. I don't think the Chiefs are going to change their mind here and punt it away. Unless the timeout made them think twice. Mahomes is on the sideline with his helmet off. Perhaps they will be punting it.
It appears they will. Matt Ariza's on the field with the punting unit. The Chiefs will punt it away. Ariza booms it. It's Olszewski with the return. Returned it for about 9 yards. So the Giants will get their ball back on the 20-yard line. I'm going to take a short break. When we come back, it'll be New York Giants football here on Sunday Night Football. Welcome back to Sunday Night Primetime here on YouTube Live. I'm Mark Aziz. It's the New York Giants at home facing the visiting Kansas City Chiefs. The Giants trail by 10. It's a 16-6 ball game. Got about a minute remaining in this third quarter. A little over a minute. As Steve Spagnuolo's defense takes the field once more. Russell Wilson not having the best game. 8 for 14, 60 passing yards and 2 interceptions. As he drops back to pass and he throws it to Cam Scatterbo, who gets the first down and plenty more as he trucks, I believe that was Jalen Watson, for the big gain. That was a 21-yard pass to Cam Scatterbo. Jalen Watson ultimately got the tackle, but Cam Scatterbo laid the wood down, lowering his shoulder. Big gain. 31 seconds left in this third quarter as Wilson throws another short pass. It's a screen, a bubble screen to Theo Johnson, and he'll get charged and pushed by his team all the way to the first down marker. Umpire is putting it right at the first down line. That's what you call team football right there. Short bubble screen pass to Theo Johnson, and with a little help from his friends, Theo Johnson gets the first down as the third quarter concludes. So we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll get into the final frame of Sunday Night Football here on YouTube Live. Welcome back to Sunday Night Football here on YouTube Live. I'm Mark Aziz, and we are entering the final frame of this football game as the Kansas City Chiefs lead the New York Giants 16-6. So far, it'll be first and 10 at the New York Giants 41-yard line. Or excuse me, the Kansas City 49-yard line. And Russell Wilson will take the snap as he rolls out to his right, being chased by Ashton Gillette. And the pass will be complete. I believe that's Wan'Dale Robinson with the completion. Russell Wilson rolling out to his right, being chased by Ashton Gillette. And it looks like Wan'Dale Robinson made the catch, but not before he stepped out of bounds and stepped back in. So it looks like this pass will be ruled incomplete as flags are on the field. See what Land Clark has to say about it. And indeed, it's an illegal touching. Wan'Dale Robinson stepped out of bounds before he made that catch. So the catch will not count. And it looks like it'll simply be 2nd and 10. Malik Neighbors has not had a single catch tonight. Russell Wilson in an empty set coming from the shotgun. Wilson takes the snap, surveys and throws it, and who else? It's Malik Neighbors for his first catch of the night. It'll be a 4-yard gain, as it'll be 3rd and 6 for the New York Giants. Malik Neighbors with his first reception tonight will be a gain of 4. 3rd and 6 as Wilson drops back to pass, throws a deep ball intended for Neighbors, but pass is broken up, nearly intercepted by Brian Cook, and Brian Cook is shaken up along with Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors is shaken up along with Brian Cook, and it's 4th and 6. It looks like they're going to have to be taking a short break to have some attention on Cook and Neighbors, as it looks like Neighbors ran into Noel Williams as he was getting up to make the pass. So we're going to have both of the trainers for each team come out and take a look at their players. We'll be taking a short break. But we'll let you know that Monday Night Football will be the Detroit Lions at the Baltimore Ravens. So we'll have some excitement going on for Monday Night Football. Thursday night will be the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks, another NFC West matchup. Cardinals having lost James Conner for the year after today's matchup against the San Francisco 49ers. So we'll see what the Arizona Cardinals will do after this. So with this injury timeout, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll get you that 4th down from the New York Giants. Welcome back to Sunday Night Football. It's 4th and 6 for the New York Giants. Brian Cook and Malik Neighbors were both injured on the last play. So both of them have been taken to their own sidelines. And it looks like New York is going for it. So it'll be a 2-by-1 set. Cam Skattebo besides Russell Wilson in the shotgun. 4th down and 6. Wilson takes the snap, throws, pass is caught by Wan'Dale Robinson for the first down, and he fumbled the ball! Wan'Dale Robinson fumbles the ball, and it's recovered by Kansas City. Shamari Connor recovers the football. But there's a flag on the field. What does Land, Clark and company have to say about this? They say pass interference on Trent McDuffie, and it'll be an automatic first down. You could see Trent McDuffie getting his hands on Wan'Dale Robinson after he gets up. Boy, are the Giants thanking their lucky stars there. That was a fumble. Trent, that was a fumble. I'm telling you right now, folks. Wan'Dale Robinson catches the ball despite the pass interference, gets up but fumbles it. And it was Shamari Connor that recovers the fumble, but it was all for nothing because Trent McDuffie commits the pass interference. Russell Wilson steps up to the throw, throws a short pass to Cam Skattebo, who gets the first down plus some extra yardage. It'll be a first down. That's a 12-yard pass. The Giants have life after the pass interference call. And a 12-yard pass to Cam Skattebo, brought down by Drew Tranquill and Nick Bolton. Nick Bolton leading the Chiefs in tackles tonight. Russell Wilson fakes the handoff. It's a play action, rolls out to his right, dumps it off to, I believe that is Chris Manhertz. That'll be a 7-yard gain. Quick short check down to Chris Manhertz, and it will be brought down to the Kansas City 21-yard line. It will be 2nd and 3. Giants in 21 personnel. Takes the snap, hands it off to Cam Skattebo, who gets the first down, plus some more. He's right outside of the 10-yard line. Cam Skattebo brought down by George Karlaftis, of all players. And it'll be a first down after a 9-yard rush. First and 10 for the New York Giants on the Kansas City 12-yard line. Russell Wilson hands it off to Skattebo once more. Charges up the middle of the field, but is ultimately brought down by George Karlaftis once again for a gain of 3. Looks like Brian Cook was walking to the locker room after that previous play, that previous incompletion with Malik Neighbors. George Karlaftis with the shoestring tackle, stopping Cam Skattebo. Malik Neighbors is back on the field. Looks like he's okay. 2nd and 7. Wilson takes the snap, rolls out to his right, throws it to that's Darius Slayton, and the Kansas City defense swarms him to stop him. It'll be a gain of 3. Nick Bolton and Shamari Connor were the first players on the spot. And we have a Kansas City player down on the field. It looks like it's Charles Omenihu who is injured. Charles Omenihu, the 2019 fifth rounder from Texas, coming from San Francisco, appears to be the player that's down on the field as he gets shoved around by Scadaboo and Runyon, among many other players. But Omenihu is walking off the field under his own power. Alas, it's third down. Marcus Mbow in for Andrew Thomas. It's 3rd and 4. Cam Scadaboo has more yards than the rest of the team. 103 yards for Scadaboo, 100 yards for the Giants. Russell Wilson takes it on the keeper, but he's brought down by George Karlaftis for a tackle for loss. That's a loss of 1 yard. And it looks like the Giants are trotting out the field goal unit. It looks like Graham Gano is coming out there, who was initially questionable with a groin injury. It seems like he's good enough to go. This is the first field goal attempt for the Giants tonight. It's a 25-yarder chip shot, up and away, and good. The Giants have cut the lead to 7 here in this fourth quarter, as Graham Gano kicks a 25-yarder to make it a one-score game. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, it'll be Kansas City ball here on Sunday night. Welcome back to Sunday Night Football here on YouTube Live. I'm Mark Aziz, and it's a 7-point contest here in East Rutherford, New Jersey, as the Kansas City Chiefs lead the New York Giants 16-9. So here we are. It's a close one-score game. 10 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in this football game. That is Remigio taking it for an 18-yard return on the kickoff from Jamie Gillen. It's been a close game so far. Kansas City's offense continuing to struggle, but doing just enough to win the game. The New York offense has slowed down quite significantly after their 37-point explosion for 506 yards and so last week against Dallas, as Isaiah Pacheco will charge on up the middle for a gain of 4, brought down by Roy Robertson Harris. Dexter Lawrence is on the sideline. Seems like he might be dealing with something. Some type of injury. So, no Dexter Lawrence on the field for the New York defense. Mahomes play action, chased up and pressured. He's going to have to throw it away. That was Kayvon Thibodeau, who immediately pressured Patrick Mahomes, forcing him to throw a short pass to Noah Gray. Just charging past Juwan Taylor, the right tackle, as Mahomes, under pressure, throws it to Noah Gray, which falls incomplete. It's 3rd and 6. So it's 3rd down and 6. They're 6 for 11 on 3rd downs tonight. Mahomes in the shotgun, drops back, decides to heave it, and it's Tyquan Thornton with the completion right up to midfield. Brought down at around the 48 to 49 yard line at Kansas City. That was Paulson Adebo tagging him down. Nice, spectacular diving catch from Tyquan Thornton. That was a 21-yard completion for Kansas City as they move the sticks to the 48-yard line at Kansas City. Mahomes throws a quick pass to Brashard Smith, who runs for 8. So it'll be a gain of 8 yards. It'll be 2nd and short for Kansas City. 8:25 and counting in this football game. Kansas City defense is gassed. Their star players taking oxygen during their little break. Mahomes throws a pass to Hollywood Brown, and that's completed for 10 yards. 1st down, Kansas City. It was a slant route for Hollywood Brown, and Mahomes makes the connection for the 10-yard gain. So the ball is on the 34-yard line of New York. Mahomes under center, hands it off to Isaiah Pacheco, and that one goes nowhere as Bobby Okereke comes in and puts the kibosh on that one. No gain. It's 2nd and 10. Bobby Okereke, the 7-year vet from Stanford, coming in to make the tackle. So it's 2nd and 10. Mahomes in the gun, drops back, heaves one deep for, I believe that's Tyquan Thornton, and the pass is made, and it's a touchdown! They're saying touchdown! Touchdown, Kansas City! What a throw! I'm not too sure if that's touchdown, but we'll have to see. I think this one might come back, folks, as that ball pops out of Tyquan Thornton's hands. And yeah, upon replay, upon further review, I think this one's going to be called back, as it looks like he did not secure that ball upon contact with the ground. It'll be 3rd and 10. Very close, though. Tyquan Thornton was right there. Just needed to hang on, but he couldn't. So Mahomes is in an empty set. 2-by-1 wide receivers. Oh, it's 2-by-2, I beg your pardon. Kareem Hunt coming into the backfield. Mahomes is in the shotgun. Takes the snap. Drops back deep. That's a 7-step drop back. Mahomes slings it deep, and he gets Tyquan Thornton. This one's not going to be a touchdown, but it's going to be 1 yard short. It's a 33-yard completion to Tyquan Thornton, and the Chiefs set up 1st and goal at the New York 1 yard line. That's Drew Phillips on the tackle. But what a snag from Tyquan Thornton for the 33-yard bomb to set up 1st and goal at the 1 for Kansas City. 5 receptions, 71 yards, and 1 touchdown for Tyquan Thornton tonight. Mahomes takes the snap, hands it off to it's Kareem Hunt, and he charges on through for the Kansas City touchdown. Touchdown, Kareem Hunt. Kansas City extends their lead 22-9 with the chance of the extra point. Flag on the field. This one's well after the touchdown. And they're saying unsportsmanlike conduct on Kareem Hunt after the touchdown for his celebration. So this makes it a 15-yard point. This adds 15 yards to the point after attempt, so it increases the difficulty of the extra point attempt. So Harrison Butker is in for the harder extra point attempt. So here's Harrison Butker. The kick is up, and it hangs left. The extra point is no good, and the score remains 22-9. The 15-yard penalty from Kareem Hunt after the touchdown results in Harrison Butker missing the extra point. But alas, the Chiefs are up by 13. Two-score game as the Kansas City Chiefs lead the New York Giants 22-9. Late in the fourth, it's 6 minutes and 3 seconds remaining. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, it'll be New York ball here in the fourth quarter.
Welcome back to Sunday Night Football here in East Rutherford, New Jersey. It's a 22-9 football game as the Kansas City Chiefs lead the New York Giants. And it's been a very rough decade for these New York Giants. They have been among one of the worst teams in the NFL. Constantly a bottom feeder team. 0-2 is a very familiar place for New York Giants fans these past few years. And it seems like if this result holds, they will fall to 0-3 as Devin Singletary returns that kickoff for 32 yards to start things off at the New York 37-yard line. So you have a tale of two teams that are 0-2, both with completely different expectations. You have the reigning AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs and the perennial bottom-feeding New York Giants as Russell Wilson hands it off to Cam Skattebo for a 9-yard gain. Cam Skattebo running right up the gut until he's brought down by Nick Bolton and Drew Tranquill. It looks like Charles Omenihu is back in the game as well. 2nd down and 1. Wilson throws a short pass to Skattebo, who gets enough for the 1st down and plenty more before he's pushed out of bounds by Chris Roland Wallace with a little help from Jalen Watson. 1st and 10 for New York. 5 minutes and 16 seconds counting as Russell Wilson is sacked by George Karlaftis. It'll be a loss of 4 for New York. George Karlaftis, an underrated gem for the Kansas City defense, was there for the back-to-back Super Bowl championships in 2022 and 2023 as Russell Wilson throws a completed pass to Darius Slayton, and that's good for a 1st down. Darius Slayton completes a short left pass to the Kansas City 35-yard line. 1st and 10, New York. Flags flying on this one. Russell Wilson throws it short to the check down. That's Devin Singletary, but we'll have to see what the penalty marker is. Does Land Clark have to say? So they're saying illegal shift on Darius Slayton. It'll be a 5-yard penalty. They'll have to take a few steps back. First and 15 on the Kansas City 40. Russell Wilson in the gun, 2-by-1 set. Singletary in the backfield with him. Russell Wilson pressured, throws to, I believe that's Daniel Bellinger. And that'll be a 6-yard completion. So it'll be 2nd and 9. As Russell Wilson hands it off to Devin Singletary, charges up for 4 yards. That's Omar Norman Lott on the tackle. So it'll be 3rd and 5. Wilson surveys, throws a deep pass, incomplete. Intended for Neighbors. And it'll be 4th down and 5. But the Giants are in a precarious position. They're on the Kansas City 40-yard line. And it seems like they might have to go for this one. It doesn't seem
like the punting unit is coming out. Russell Wilson and company stays on the field. It's 4th and 5. 3:33 left in this ball game. Wilson drops back, throws, complete. Pass complete to Wan'Dale Robinson. It'll be 1st and goal. It's a completion of 26 yards as Russell Wilson throws it right up the middle for a 26-yard completion to Wan'Dale Robinson, as this one is thrown away out of the end zone. Nobody was there. 2nd and goal. They might call intentional grounding because there was not a single blue shirt near where Russell Wilson threw that ball. Let's see what the referees say. And indeed, it is an intentional grounding penalty. Russell Wilson threw it out the back left corner of the end zone, but there was nobody in blue near that one. Russell Wilson was still in the pocket when he threw that one away. So that's why they called intentional grounding. It's 2nd and goal, but instead of on the 4, it's the 14. Wilson, with the keeper, charges up the middle. It'll be a gain of 4. Charles Omenihu with the tackle. Brian Cook has returned to the game. Third and goal in the 10-yard line. Wilson in the shotgun. Pressure, throws a deep ball, and it's out of the end zone. The closest receiver there was Theo Johnson. And the Giants are left with a decision to make. There's 2:35 remaining in this ball game. The Giants have 2 timeouts remaining. They're down by 2 scores. So let's see what they decide to do here. They decide to go for it. Empty set. 2 wide receivers on each side of the field. Russell Wilson in the shotgun. Russell Wilson pressured and throws it incomplete. Closest receiver nearby was Darius Slayton, but that wasn't catchable for anybody. As the New York Giants fans look on in utter confusion and disappointment, wondering what the heck happened there. It's 1st and 10, Kansas City, as the Giants turn it over on downs. We're going to take a short break, and when we return, it'll be Kansas City ball with 2.5 left in this ball game. Welcome back to Sunday Night Football. There's 2.5 minutes remaining in this ball game, and the Kansas City Chiefs are up by 2 scores with the ball after the New York Giants and Russell Wilson turned it over on downs. If you stick around after the game, we're going to have a short post game covering what happened and how the Kansas City Chiefs managed to come away with their first victory of the year. If the results stay as they are. So far, it's 1st and 10 on the Kansas City 10-yard line. Isaiah Pacheco surges ahead and is swarmed by the New York Giants defense. That's Garcia leading the charge. It'll be a 6-yard run. That's Kareem Hunt with the carry. As the Giants take their second timeout. And it's a 2nd and 4. Chiefs have a bit of a difficult schedule coming up. They'll be facing the Ravens next week. After that, they'll be visiting Jacksonville. Week 6, it'll be the Lions on Sunday night. Week 7, they'll host the Raiders and the Commanders. After that, it'll be going to Buffalo, as they'll hand it off to Kareem Hunt once again. But it goes nowhere, as that's Eric Garcia and Javon Holland on the tackle. The Giants have the Chargers coming to town. They'll travel to New Orleans, and then they'll have Philadelphia come to town. They'll go on a trip to Denver and then Philadelphia. In Week 9, they'll host San Francisco, who is 3-0. So not the easiest schedule for the Giants, as they use their final timeout. Two minutes and 20 seconds left in this game. It's 3rd and 4. It's looking like the Chiefs are going to come away with their first victory of the year, avoiding the dreaded 0-3. As Mahomes rolls out to his right, throws a deep pass intended for Hollywood Brown, but it falls incomplete. Coverage by Paulson Adebo there. It's 4th and 4, and it looks like the Giants are going to get one more shot before the 2-minute warning. Paulson Adebo nearly intercepted it as it went right through his arms. But alas, it falls incomplete, and the Chiefs are going to have to punt it away. Matt Arezia, once again, coming in to punt. It's a 52-yard punt, as Olszewski returns it for 7 yards. And the Giants will get one more crack at it on their own 39-yard line. That punt was nearly blocked by Bo Collins. It's 1st and 10 on the New York 39. 2 minutes and 4 seconds left in this game. 2-by-1 set. And looks like a false start penalty will make them step back an extra 5 yards. False start will be addressed to John Runyon, the left guard. So it'll be 1st and 15 for New York. Wilson throws a short pass to Neighbors, who's brought down by Trent McDuffie. Gain of 9 on the play. And that'll lead us to the 2-minute warning. So, we'll stick with you here. We'll stick with you here. As next week, it'll be the Green Bay Packers taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Micah Parsons going up against his old team after he was traded 1 week before the start of the season to the Green Bay Packers after contract negotiations fell through with him and Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboys. 2-minute warning is ended. There's 1:59 left in the game. It's 2nd and 6. Russell Wilson's in the shotgun. Cam Scattaboo is beside him. 2 wide receivers up top, 1 on the bottom. Wilson takes the snap, pressured. He's going to roll out to his left and throw it to Scattaboo, but it falls incomplete. It was Noel Williams on the coverage. It's 3rd and 6. Malik Neighbors up at the top. Wilson in the gun. Takes the snap, looks to throw, and it's intercepted? Or no, they say no. It's an incomplete pass. Nearly intercepted. It looked like Jalen Watson had an interception, but it falls to the ground. It's 4th down. Last gasp for New York. 4th and 6th. On their 43-yard line. The Giants pressure. Wilson has to keep it, but he's brought down. That is Chenal. That brings down Russell Wilson on the keeper, and it'll be a turnover on downs, and that should be the ball game. Kansas City has the ball. New York has no timeouts left. And it seems like it'll be nothing but victory formation for Kansas City as they are up 22-9. Kansas City gets their first win of the season here in New York at East Rutherford, New Jersey, as Patrick Mahomes will simply kneel it down a few times and let the clock run down until we hit triple zeros. A valiant effort from the New York Giants, but very disappointing offensive showout, especially how they performed last week against the Dallas Cowboys, putting up 37 points in an overtime loss. Chiefs kneel it one more time. We'll have to put one more kneel down to ice this game away. Travis Kelce shaking hands with his teammates on the bench. Andy Reid right there speaking with his offensive coordinator Matt Nagy. And Patrick Mahomes will get the kneel down one more time. And that'll be the ball game. Kansas City defeats the New York Giants 22-9. The Chiefs get their first win of the season. They are now 1-2. The Giants fall to 0-3. So, that's the ball game. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll do a little bit of a post-game analysis. But until then, you're listening to Sunday Night Football here on YouTube Live. I'm Mark Aziz. We'll be right back with the post-game. Welcome to the Sunday Night Post-Game Show here. I'm Mark Aziz here on YouTube Live. The Kansas City Chiefs come out of New York victorious as they win 22-9 over the New York Giants. The Chiefs get their first win of the season as the Giants fall to 0-3. This game started off pretty slow. Initially, the Giants had the ball first, and they turned it over on downs. And that led to a 12-play, 36-yard drive that ultimately led in a field goal for the Kansas City Chiefs afterwards. After that, the Giants punted. The Chiefs answered back with another field goal to make it 6-0. The Giants then proceeded to throw an interception, Russell Wilson's first of 2 of the game. Then the Chiefs marched down 25 yards to attempt a 40-yard field goal that was ultimately missed by Harrison Butker. And in response to that, the Giants put together an 8-play, 70-yard touchdown drive to tie the game 6-all after Jamie Gillen, in place of Graham Gano, who was dealing with a groin injury, kicked the point-after attempt that was no good. After the touchdown drive, Kansas City punted it, but then New York threw their second interception. That's Russell Wilson's second interception of the game to keep it knotted at 6. And this was with very few time left on the clock and going into the half. Kansas City marches down the field 7 plays, 69 yards with only 49 seconds to kick a field goal. This was a 25-yard field goal, or a 28-yard field goal to make it 9-6 going into the half. Kansas City would get the ball starting the second half, and they made good work of their first possession of the second half, going 11 plays, 74 yards for a touchdown to make it a 10-point game, 16-6. After that, the two teams exchanged punts, and New York had the ball going into the fourth quarter. They kicked a field goal after a 12-play, 73-yard drive to make it 16-9. Kansas City responded with a 9-play, 77-yard touchdown. That was a touchdown pass, it was a touchdown pass that was set up by a 33-yard pass to Tyquan Thornton, which led to a Kareem Hunt touchdown run to really ice this game away. And that ultimately led to our final score of 22-9. Final stats of the game: Patrick Mahomes 22 for 37, 224 passing yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, sacked twice. Russell Wilson had 160 yards passing, 18 for 32, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He was also sacked twice. Isaiah Pacheco led the team in rushing for Kansas City, 10 carries for 45 yards. Kareem Hunt had 10 carries for 34 yards and a rushing touchdown. For New York, it was Cam Skattebo leading the way with rushing, 10 carries for 60 yards with 1 rushing touchdown. And in terms of receiving, Tyquan Thornton was the star of the show for Kansas City, 5 receptions for 71 yards. Juju Smith-Schuster helped out as well, 4 receptions for 55 yards. Tyquan Thornton had a receiving touchdown. Cam Skattebo was really the offensive powerhouse for New York tonight, as he had 6 receptions for 61 yards. Altogether, Cam Skattebo had 121 yards in this game. His longest reception was 21 yards. Darius Slayton had 4 receptions for 30 yards. And Malik Neighbors, surprisingly quiet, only 2 receptions for 13 yards on this one. Mahomes fumbled twice, but did not lose them. Both were recovered. And that is pretty much all she wrote. Kansas City is 1-2. New York is 0-3. Final score 22-9 as the Chiefs are victorious tonight. Next week it'll be the Green Bay Packers at the Dallas Cowboys. It's a revenge game for Micah Parsons. So until then, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday night, and I'll see you for the next game.